Have you ever just like been so tired, but you don't want to sleep?
Story of my life.
Like that's
a story of my life. That sounds like my life.
I literally get to bed and I'm like, I'm too tired for sleep. Like, this sucks. Anyways, cue the intro. Hello guys, it's Two Latin Brothers podcast, also known as T.L.B.P. I'm Victor.
And I'm Adrian.
And we're back at it again with another not vlog. And you just made like the most cringiest like expression I've ever seen in my life.
Okay, look,
You're not.
I'm not here to say that I'm not cringe.
Uh-huh.
Because at times I am. Like, I mean, you know, like when you're talking to somebody and then you get a little too cheesy?
Yeah.
That's me all the time.
Yeah, I totally agree with that.
Me.
Yeah.
Also, like, love is pretty cheesy. Like, anything you say romantically has been said before.
Yeah.
So it just sounds cheesy.
See, you
like,
can
even
try
when you like look at somebody, you be like, "I love you."
Yeah.
And it sounds like
the problem is with the term love is that it's like losing all its purpose. And I'm sure we've talked about this on the podcast.
In nauseam, but I think season 2 has it like at least 4 times.
Yeah, 4 times because people, use the word a lot. Like, I love Cheetos. I love hot Cheetos. Well, you don't love me, Like, that's no. Like, you can't love hot Cheetos. You like hot Cheetos. Maybe you want some hot Cheetos.
But the word like is also used poorly in the English. Like, you know what I mean?
I mean,
like,
the word
in
like...
Spanish, there's a way to distinguish between liking a thing and liking a person.
Yeah.
Like, in English, when you have a crush on somebody, when you were younger at least, someone would be like, so do you like them or do you like them?
Yeah.
You have to say like twice. Because there's no word for...
I mean, it's like it depending on like whether they see it already, it's how many likes they're probably going to say. Yeah. So if like, do you like them?
No,
it's
but
like what I'm
trying to say.
Yeah.
And what I think is basically what you started with is that, like, yes, there is a lot of cringe in the world. I'm sorry.
There's so much cringe in this world. I cannot stress how much cringe. Like, honestly... Like, have you ever, like, had a conversation with somebody and then, like, you're giving them, like, life advice and then you think back to that conversation a few minutes after and you're like, damn, that was, like, the cheesiest thing anybody could have ever said in their entire life.
We actually had that happen. The music kept building up to the back.
Yeah, totally
so
you know who you were.
Yeah, they know who they are. I'm not going to say who they were, but we were talking and then I started giving him advice on what to do.
Yeah.
And no joke, the music in the restaurant where we were sitting just started got
like so motivational really quickly. And
like,
I was like, whoa, what is going on?
I was like, yo, someone start recording.
Exactly.
It was like the greatest thing.
I even had to ask for the playlist after.
But it happened like 3 times.
Yeah.
Like not only once. Like and then we changed this topic.
Every time it was the moment of giving advice.
Yeah.
The music built up to like empowerment.
Yeah,
it was so
crazy.
funny.
It was like, what is going on?
Yeah.
I'm like, who's eavesdropping on this convo right now? Like who's cueing the music every couple of seconds?
Like that whole playlist.
Yeah.
Like I had to ask for the playlist after. I just could not believe like consecutively. It's like we were timing it or something. Like we had somebody click on a switch or something. Like it was just so perfect.
Yeah. But I mean,
I've never had an instance like that again.
I've had it happen once before.
I've had it happen once, but not like consecutively.
Yeah.
Like it's just that never happens.
Yeah. No, I mean, I remember just one time I was with somebody else.
Yeah.
And we were talking about like just like he was a lot older than me and he was like, when you're in my position, you'll look back and think you've wasted a lot of time. And I'm like, with one minor difference. And he goes, what? Everything I'm doing right now is to benefit my future.
Everything?
Almost everything I'm doing. Almost everything I'm doing.
I got you with that one. Everything?
Well, I mean, like, if I'm going to sit down and watch...
I scratched my back the other day.
No, I mean, like, in the sense of, like, productivity.
Okay.
Like, when I'm productive, like, I get it done.
Okay, but when everyone's productive, they're getting stuff done.
Well, I mean, there's productive and then there's productive.
No, then that's not productive. You can't use that word.
Okay, look, you know who you are. It's like this guy's like, I'm productive. I go to school. but he's on his phone the whole lecture. See what I'm saying?
Story of my life.
I mean, technically he's productive, but he's not actually. Like,
no, he's not. He just the fact that you mentioned him being on his phone makes it completely not productive.
I know, but he can go to other people and be like, I'm being productive, I'm going to school. But you don't know what's going on in class. You don't know what his grades are. You don't know any of that.
Do I even know who this person is?
I mean, no. I mean, you probably know somebody in your program like this. They're always asking for help last minute. They never know what's truly going on. They don't know how to log into their email. They just found out they have a bus pass like a week and a half ago that they paid for. You know, they just found out you got health insurance from the college. Like, this is that person.
I think everybody knows that person.
Right?
Yeah.
There's that one guy. But he's telling all his friends, go to school, being productive.
Yeah.
He has no idea what's going on.
He has no idea what's going on.
Exactly.
But somehow they end up passing, and then the person you expected to pass just isn't actually doing as well. Then you're like,
they're having like a mental breakdown in the background.
Then you're just like, what's going on here? Like, what kind of matrix is this?
It's a messed up one.
Yeah, it is.
Not to say that we're living in a simulation.
We're living in a simulation?
No.
So I have a theory.
No. I'm not getting into that.
Starts getting into theories. I'm not getting into that.
Yeah. Like, it's like the... Actually, no. We're not going into conspiracy theory.
No, we're not getting into conspiracy theories.
There was this... You know when you were talking about cringe earlier?
Yeah.
You were saying how, like, there's a lot of things that are cringe.
Yeah.
So I was on Reddit yesterday.
Oh, he was on Reddit.
I was on Reddit yesterday, and I was scrolling, and there's this clip of Donald Trump, like, yelling at a lady, hey, I need to go right now. I'm going to buy your car. And she goes, what? And he pulls out his checkbook, signs his checkbook, rips the check, and hands it to her. And she goes, wow, that's a lot of money. And he goes, okay, great. And she goes, okay, just let me take out my kids. And he goes, I don't have time for this. Pulls out his checkbook again, signs it, I'm buying your kids, and hands her a check. and then you go to the comments section, and people are like, at the beginning, I thought it was like a deep fake or something.
Yeah.
Like, I thought it was fake. But then when he bought the children, I was convinced it was real.
That's actually really good. That's kind of like...
I was like, that guy, he caught on. He knows it's Donald Trump just because he bought the kids.
He bought the children.
He bought the children.
Donald Trump bought a car for somebody? That doesn't sound like Donald Trump. Donald Trump bought somebody's children? That's probably Donald Trump.
Like, that's
that was the thought process he had. He's just like, that doesn't sound right at all.
That doesn't sound like something he would do.
Exactly.
I think that made my day. I was like, that's great.
Yeah. Just like your thought process. There's some people who just like think like that, like just like of anything. They'll just be like, you know, that doesn't sound right. Like, I don't think that's what you're talking about. And you're just like, but I'm literally telling you, like, nah, I don't think so.
Right.
Like, I don't think so. Like, I don't that doesn't sound like them. And then I'm just like, why would I be telling you this if it wasn't them? And they're just like, nah. Mm-mm.
There's a lot of people who they just like to stay away from the status quo.
Yeah, I guess.
They're just like, most people who do that are just trying to make a bit.
My life is a bit.
Nah, man, you're not there yet. I know I've only met one guy who literally lives his life in a series of bit. There's only one guy I've ever met who could do it consistently. Consistently.
I shut it off every once in a while because sometimes it can get too much for the other people, depending who you're with.
I mean, audience is key. Yeah. Audience is like some people.
Like, you got to read the room.
No, I mean, like,
if you can't...
Okay, look, you're hanging out with your friends, right?
I'm hanging out with my friends.
And this guy's like, you know what? Forget this. I'm done. And he storms away. That's a bit. Okay. Right? And then this person across from us, because we're in a cafeteria, a girl sitting on a table across from us turns and looks at me and she goes, is everything all right? And I go, yeah, he'll be back in a couple of minutes. And she goes, he seemed really upset. I'm like, he's just joking around. He's just messing around. And she goes, no, that seemed like he was having a mental breakdown. And I go, no, he's fine.
Like, it's just a bit, lady.
It's just a bit. He came back like 5 minutes later. I'm like, where did you go? He's like, I stormed away and then I realized I need to use the washroom. And then I'm like, okay. And then he came back and he sat down. Everything's fine. And the girl was just eyeing me down the entire time. Like, this is a messed up friend group.
Yeah. Like imagine like her perspective. Like, she's just sitting, minding her own business. And then somebody yells, I'm leaving. I'm done with this. And it just storms out.
And leaves all their stuff there.
Leaves all their stuff there. Clearly.
Yeah.
They're pissed off from your perspective.
Yeah.
But little do you know, it's just like a joke. Like, this guy actually just needs to go like take a leak.
Like, just this one time I did the exact same thing. Like, just to like shadow. I was like, I'm done. And I got up and I walked away. Came back with a Coke in my hand. Everybody's like, really? I'm like,
just want a Coke.
I just want a Coke. They're like, so you stormed away. I'm like, I thought I'd let you all know I'd be right back. without saying I'd be right back. And they're like, so you yelled at us? I'm like, hey man, I'm just learning.
I'm just doing what I needed to do.
You know, like, but I don't know. There are things like that where,
like, sometimes you invest so much in a bit and so much, and then like somebody just misses it, and you're like, how could you do this to me?
I know.
Like, it's
sometimes you wait.
You feel almost betrayed by this individual. You're just like, I worked my butt off for this bit.
I waited for you to
cue me, for me to execute this plan, and you betrayed me.
You failed me.
You jerk.
It's like
doing this.
We have that a lot where we'll be talking.
Yeah.
Especially on the podcast, and you'll be like, I feel like you're cueing me for like a bit, and I'm like, I'm not though. I'm straight up not. I'm just talking.
See, like, because there's many times where people just say a phrase, and I'll think of something, and I think of something real good.
Yeah.
It's very unethical to say out loud, though.
I mean, okay, look.
Because, like, you have, like, humor.
Yeah.
Right? And then you have, like, stupid humor.
You mean satire.
Okay. And then you have your dark humor.
Yeah.
I tend to lean towards dark humor.
Yeah, of course. Most people do.
But the problem with dark humor is you can't just throw it out there. It's just, you just yell it out loud, and you're like, no, it's bleh. It starts sending, and then you can't do anything about it.
What was I going to say? I was going to say something.
You yawned for like the longest time. I've never witnessed somebody get that kind of a stretch from their jaw.
I'm just so tired. What was I saying? Oh yeah. I was going to say how you were saying about the dark humor thing.
Yeah.
We were talking about in a class this past week how like we were talking about like, like situations in the workplace.
Yeah.
Or like things like whether or not it's harassment or not, and how to identify it.
Yeah.
And then I made the joke where, well, not that I made a joke, but she was giving an example where like these two coworkers, they're friends, and then one of the coworkers makes fun of one of her coworkers because he's bald. Is that harassment?
Yes.
Technically, no, depending on their relationship.
Yeah.
Because like if they're like really good friends, like, I mean, we all have that friend.
Bald.
We like
that
we
one
attack.
bald friend.
we don't hold anything back. Like, we're real.
Like, we're like straight up like, you suck. Like, you are the worst person I've ever met in my life. You're basically trash.
No, I mean, like, race gets involved, gender gets, like, it doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter.
Everything's on the table.
That relationship is just that healthy. If you understand what I mean.
Yeah, but everything's on the table, right?
Yeah.
There's nothing that I'm not allowed to make fun of, right?
Yeah.
Like, everything's on the table, and we're both like okay with it.
Yeah.
That's the kind of like what if they're like that?
That's true friendship.
Sure. Okay. Some would say it's an.
If you can't call me a dirtbag
and laugh about it, then we're not.
Then
friends.
we're not friends. Like, unless you're saying it sincerely. In other words, you jerk. But like,
imagine all your friends right now are like, I've never called him a dirtbag. Wait, am I not a friend? Wait, has he ever called me a dirtbag? He hasn't. Wait a minute. Are we not friends?
Guys, it's just a bit. Get the bit, you jerk.
It's just a bit about a bit.
It's just a bit about a bit, okay? Like,
just a series of bits. Me. No, I remember this one time. I remember who I was with, but actually, but I'm not gonna say his name.
Okay,
we were hanging out, and he's of Asian descent.
Okay,
and when their background, and in Asian culture, when you eat food and you make noise, it's considered respectful.
Mm-hmm.
Like to the cook.
Yeah.
That it's like a gesture of like, I'm enjoying your food.
Yeah.
Okay. So we're sitting there, and I know this already, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
And this lady sitting across from us gets up and goes, eat properly. Like, just straight up, eat properly.
Yeah.
And then I look at him, and I don't really say anything. I'm like, also because like the lady's white, obviously.
Oh, so she was a Karen. I mean, she was about to go get the manager real quick.
Dude, this is like 2018. This is like before that term was invented.
Look, okay, the term Karen only showed up because we desperately needed to find a word to call these people.
Happened to be a name.
Yeah.
Anyway, getting back to the point. So she gets up, and the guy she's with, because she was with the guy, looks at us, and you can see he's so ashamed. He's like, I want to disappear. Yeah. Like, I don't want to be here anymore. And then she turns and looks at him and goes, don't you think you should stop eating like that? And the guy was just like, let's just leave them alone.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And then I turn and look at the guy, and I go, yo, man, you do you. And then the lady goes, no, he needs to adjust to our culture. And I go,
I would have rolled up my sleeves real quick.
No, wait. So this is where it gets good. I go, excuse me? And she goes, yeah. She's like, he's in Canada now. And I go, okay, well, for one, Canadians coined multiculturalism
as their culture.
And then she goes, excuse me? And I go, yeah, your people, which also happen to be mine because I'm a Canadian, coined the term multiculturalism. And she goes, that has nothing to do with it. I'm like, that has everything to do with it. Him being able to do whatever he wants because he comes of a different culture is his birthright in this country. Mm-hmm. And she goes, she got mad. And the guy she was with, like, is just smiling at me. He's like enjoying it. He's like,
it's like he knows what he's doing.
He's like, this kid, who is he? Anyway, so then I go, and then she goes, he's like, if he wants to be like that, he should just go back home. And this is where it hits hard.
Yeah.
He was born here too.
Oh shoot.
and then I go, he's also a Canadian. And she goes, then why? And then I'm like, because he's gone home before. And then she goes, but if he's Canadian, this is home. I'm like, I mean, his motherland, where his parents are from. And she goes and she gets all mad and she gets upset. And I go,
you go and do that. Like,
no, she got really, like, you could tell, like, she was just not having it. At which point,
I love people like that because it's always an opportunity. You know what I mean? Like, it's like, I get, like, their anger is just my source of energy.
Yeah, it just fuels you.
It's like it's an ego boost, a fuel boost. Like, I recovered like 10 days of sleep just by having that one conversation. You know what I mean? Like, it's just so like thriving to me. Like, if I could just feed off that kind of like anger.
Why are you so confrontational?
I don't know. I just love it. I love the confrontation. Like, especially that confrontation when you're certain that they're wrong.
Okay, anyway, so she gets up and she just leaves the restaurant we were in. I think we were like in a Harvey's or something like that.
Yeah.
If you don't know what that is, it's like a burger place in Canada.
Yeah.
Anyway, so getting back to the place. It's like fast food. Anyway, so the guy gets up and she was with, and he goes after her. Well, he's going to go after her.
Yeah.
And he looks at both of us and he goes, I'm so sorry that happened. I don't know what to tell you guys. Like, I'm sorry. I'm like, it's cool. No worries. And he goes, but I like how you guys defended yourselves. Then I'm like, I'm just being a Canadian. And he laughed and he goes, yeah, it sounds about right. And he walked away. And I was like, and then later we was talking to my friend. He goes, dude, I can't believe you just did that. I'm like, honestly, like, some people just want to pick a fight for the sake of it.
I know.
Also, like, their level of entitlement sometimes is too much for me. Like, I can't handle it. Yeah. I'm like, quite frankly, like, sometimes I forget that I'm not, like, I'm Latino.
Yeah.
Because I've lived, like,
surrounded by.
No. I've just lived a privileged life.
Yeah.
You know, like, I've never been, like, I've only.
I love how you're trying to say something without saying something. Just say it. Like, what's wrong?
No. I'm explaining how I've never had a prejudice against me.
Yeah.
Right. Like, no one's ever, like, I've only ever had that happen once, and it was by some old white guy, like a bus driver. Other than that, I've never had someone be racist towards me.
Like, and being Latino, like, you never truly suffer racism, but you will suffer microaggressions.
But it's like super subtle too.
Yeah,
like it's like you know, you walk into a corner store, the corner store guy gives you like a once over. Yeah, like that's sketch over there, you know. Like, but like
you show up, you walk into like a store, and the security guard gives you a quick look.
Yeah,
like that's about it. Like, he'll eye you, maybe he'll check your aisle.
Yeah.
And that's like to the extent. They won't like be
follow
like
you around or whatever.
Yeah. But like that's like, who cares? Like, at least I know I'm safer now because I basically got a bodyguard following me now.
Yeah. I mean, like, that's fine. But there are instances where like the bus situation with me.
Yeah.
Super uncomfortable. Like, the most uncomfortable I've ever felt. Like, the most uncomfortable I've ever felt in my entire life. Like, I wanted to disappear. And I think I've told this story in the podcast before.
Yeah, you have.
All right. Anyway, so
he's gonna summarize it right now for the listeners who are listening right now.
Oh, okay.
He's gonna summarize it, but go back and find that episode.
I don't know what episode it is. I don't know.
That's what I'm saying. Go find it.
Okay. Anyway, so going back. I was getting on the bus. The bus driver told me to get off because I couldn't walk in through the front door. I had to use the back door. But before I got on, he let on a bunch of people who also happened to be white get on through the front door of the bus, and he was just singling me out. And then this old black lady jumped in and yelled at him, and she said she'd report him, and she told me, sweetie, get on the bus, he's just being a racist. And I was like, oh, okay. And he goes, no, you don't know how to use the bus. He made a big deal over literally nothing. Also, nowhere on the bus does it say you can't enter through the front door.
Yeah.
Like,
it's like the front door.
I know. Anyway, and that's where you're supposed to board anyway. But like, he was just making this like huge deal, like whatever. And the old lady, she quite literally like, you know, she's all sass and like I'm like, she ain't take none from nobody.
Yeah,
you know, like, but I mean, and there was another guy there who also chimed in, but I mean,
he didn't do much. He wasn't very effective.
No, it's not that he wasn't effective. He was just a tall guy. Like, I mean, I don't.
You didn't know what his ethnic background looked.
I mean, he was of color, but I don't know what color.
Well, I don't know, like what kind of color did it look like?
I know he wasn't. What anyway?
Was he caramelized?
A little bit. No,
like good sear on him.
Getting back to the point. Yeah. What I was trying to get at is that, like, there are people who have lived in this society who have been marginalized and have been, you know, attacked a lot. So they know how to deal with it. But like in my case, because I've lived such a privileged life, I genuinely don't know how to approach it. Like, I don't know how to approach that kind of like environment. Also,
strategically and effectively.
Well, yeah, but like
straight. That's literally my mentality.
But those are the only two instances I can talk for. Like, either than that, the only time someone's been racist to me is like literally cracking a joke, and that's like, not even racist.
The only time I've had like any racism towards me has been during arguments. That is the one time when they've run out of things to say.
Yeah,
you end up going like, and they're trying to hurt you.
Yeah, that's
what they'll fall into the lowest of the low.
Yeah,
and then use racism against you.
Yeah.
And it's basically they just gave you a gift,
or they forfeited.
Yeah, or they basically just forfeited it if they use that race, because then you use your race card, you use your race pass, you're just like, you're gonna turn this on race now, aren't you? You white privilege. No,
I think that oftentimes it's not that we're. I mean, like, mind you, in this society. Specifically this society. Well, we're surrounded by a lot of ethnicities.
Yeah.
Like, we got a lot of Mexicans, we got a lot of Latinos, we got a lot of
everything.
Yeah.
We got a little bit of anything. We dabble in every little thing.
Exactly. Like, it's hard not. No, what I was going to say is Canada is a country that has every ethnicity, or at least all of most of them. Yeah. But what I'm trying to get at is, like, Canada is like at the forefront of what Earth should be.
Yeah.
Where everyone can live together.
Full diversity.
Yeah. Like, where no one is prejudiced against anybody. Yeah. I mean, it still happens, mind you, which is really unfortunate that it happens, especially in today and age.
Like
in a country like ours,
yeah,
where we were not that we, yeah, it's just like individually people are the ones outing themselves.
Yeah.
As opposed to like in our society where like most people can acknowledge that that's wrong.
Mm-hmm. I mean, like, when you're in the middle of like in the process of like talking to somebody and like they're telling you this directly, sometimes you're blind to it.
Yeah.
And then when you're like on the outside of it, you're like, nah, I see that like a white sheet of paper, you know?
Yeah.
It's like mud, you know?
Yeah.
You know it's
mud. Like, there are moments where you do feel the difference.
No, it's like what I it's like what I realized. It's like how my generation, well, technically your generation and our parents' generation is trying to teach like the youth about to like not see color.
Yeah.
And then you know what Crayola does?
Yeah,
they release a palette of like skin tones. like you're not helping the cause. You're just helping them see specific color now.
It's like, what color skin you got, man? I got all the skin shades right here.
Like, I'm a peachy, you know, like a little more on like the caramel end of it, you know.
Sure, okay. But your generation is just...
Oh, my generation knows exactly what it wants, doesn't know how to do it, and has no idea what's going on, but at the same time knows what's going on, but doesn't understand why it's going on and how it's going on.
And doesn't know how to approach it.
And doesn't know how to approach it. Basically, we're all lost. We're a group of confused individuals.
That basically sums it up.
Basically. We're a group of individuals who are confused, have no idea what's going on. We're blaming the generation before us because they screwed us over.
It's not my fault.
And like
it's odd because like we're in two different generations.
Yeah.
So like when we should have named this podcast Cross Generation or something.
Yeah, okay, sure.
But I think like in my case, growing like you didn't grow up where you were the only colored person in the room.
Definitely not.
Right? Like I have been in instances where I was the only person of color in the room.
Oh, I've had instances, but like they were like a rare Pokemon, you know, like they were like a shiny.
But like that was my homeroom class.
Yeah, I never had that. I always had like that person I could have, you know, who's like same like not the same ethnicity, but I knew they were of color.
Yeah.
You know?
Like, and then like later on, you know, there were more added and more and more and more.
In my lifetime,
I remember by the time I got to high school,
yeah,
I think there were like 4 white people in my class. Like they were the minority in the room. Like them and the teacher. Like they were the minority, you know? And it wasn't like to say that like there's something wrong with that or that's a great thing. It's just that I found that the older I got,
the more diverse the group became.
Exactly. Because Canada let more and more people in.
Yeah.
And as it went on, like, not to say that it was wrong, but we ran into other issues along the way.
Yeah.
Where, like, you know, there's there's like religion and there's certain things that are okay in certain cultures. And all of this stuff is like...
It's the cultural clash of like religion and ethnicity.
Yeah.
If you understand what I mean by that.
Yeah.
So like there's people of many religions and then there's people who come of a culture because of their ethnic background.
Exactly.
And then they end up clashing and then it causes arguments.
Everywhere. Also like, for example, like say someone from the Middle East here.
Yeah.
They grew up in Canada. They were born Canadian. Their parents are the immigrants. They were born and raised Canadian.
Yeah.
Okay. Do you know what happens when they move out?
No idea.
They celebrate Christmas. Like, and you go, that's a Christian holiday. What are you doing? You know?
Yeah.
But it's like, it's one of those things because here in Canada, everyone gets Christmas off.
Yeah.
Everybody. Like, it doesn't matter who you are. It doesn't matter where you're from. Everybody gets Christmas off. And I'm telling you, if the Muslims get their Christmas off, I want it off too, man. Like, I where do I sign? I'm
it's like when they get Eid off, can I get Eid off?
And that's what I'm saying. Like, if you get my Christmas, I should get yours.
Yeah.
You know, like, that's only fair. I mean, I also
but like if you say that, depending like who you're with, they'll be like, nah, man, like you can't do that. And then I'm like, well, why can you get my day? Like,
exactly. I mean, some people might get mad at that, but ultimately that's what it is. Like if it becomes like a holiday.
I mean, even now, a lot of people don't really truly celebrate Christmas.
Yeah.
It's become more of the, let's say,
the Santa thing.
It's become more of an economic.
Yeah.
Like
it's to end the quarter to boost the numbers.
It's just to boost everyone's
sales
numbers.
And all of that. But like,
and then we call it Christmas. You know, we're just like there's a sale and we're calling it Christmas sale.
And then the day after Christmas is Boxing Day.
Yeah, and then the day after is Boxing Day,
which is like our Black Friday.
Yeah, I mean we also have Black Friday.
I mean we now have Black Friday,
and then we have Cyber Monday,
and we have Cyber Monday. My gosh,
like so many discounts.
I know.
Anyway. Honestly, we shouldn't even call it Christmas. We should call it Discount Week. Scratch Christmas, Discount Week.
Well, now people are trying to introduce Christmas in July.
Oh yeah.
Which I think is the dumbest thing ever.
I think it's a good idea. I would like a day off in July.
You're not doing anything in July.
Exactly.
You're on break.
Wouldn't that be hilarious? Like I'm on break already in July, and then I gotta take a break from the break, and now it's Christmas.
I need a vacation from the vacation. No, but yeah,
it's like Easter.
Yeah,
it's supposed to be like.
Well, not everybody gets Easter.
Yeah, like because like Easter, depending where you are, right?
Yeah, Easter
is like the Easter bunny, and then it's just like when Christ was actually born.
No, it's the resurrection.
Well, okay, with the resurrection.
Well, they believe that's when it was.
Yeah, they believe. Okay,
no one's got these strict dates.
No one's actually got these dates down.
Yeah, I'm not getting into the semantics.
Yeah. Anyways, like, how did it go from like resurrection to like look at this bunny that has eggs for some weird reason?
I don't know, man. I also like
the way we've like twisted holidays.
Well,
it's just like, what? No, honestly, like who came up with like this whole Easter bunny with eggs thing? Like
I have no idea. Like, okay,
how many like honestly, this is some kind of like slavery type thing. Like we got bunnies running the chickens.
Isn't that like, what's that movie with the like rabbit who's the Easter bunny?
Oh, Hop?
Yeah, they basically do that.
We're like
the rabbit's like the overlord of the chickens. He's like, yo, go paint those or whatever.
Like why how did the bunnies or rabbits, I mean, get dominance? Like,
yo, man, they plotted together, they coordinated.
I mean, did you see how many chickens there was? Like, they could have done a hostile takeover. Like, I'm taking this whole operation right now. You know.
Well, like, look, I think that Easter's also like the whole spring thing. I think that's why they put the resurrection in, because it's like you're born anew.
Yeah.
Quite literally, because like this winter comes and then everything is like rejuvenated and born anew.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, nature wise anyway. I mean, if you don't have winter where you're from, then I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know what to tell you.
Yeah.
But I mean, we got winter.
You live along the equator. Have fun with that.
Getting back to the main point.
Honestly, like, I can't, because I've always lived in Canada.
Right.
I can't imagine being in December with there being no snow.
Like our dad telling us he used to spend Christmas on the beach.
I know, like, what the? That is mind-boggling to a Canadian. Like, right. That is just
because you're from El Salvador. It's like right on the equator.
Exactly.
And like, I mean, I get it. And to be honest with you, it kind of makes sense.
No, I know. Like, it makes sense, but like, to like, understand, like, there's no snow. Like, you can, first off, you're swimming in the water, not walking over it.
I know. Also, like, we've had Christmases where there's like a snowstorm.
Yeah.
And we're like inside with like the Christmas tree.
Yeah.
Drinking hot cocoa, wrapped up in a blanket. It's like, it's all fun and vibes, right?
Hot cocoa.
It's but it's great.
Yeah.
And that experience alone, like if you've never lived that,
like having the ability to cozy up,
yeah,
in a bunch of like sheets and blankets, and you're wearing your pajamas because who gives it,
like the fireplace,
If you haven't like experienced any of those things,
yeah,
like you're missing out on something here.
Oh yeah,
like because just having that ability is good enough. Like you don't even have to celebrate Christmas. Just the fact that you can cozy up.
Even like in the summertime, if you go to like a cottage late at night, it gets cold. You light a fire.
You cozy up.
You go get a blanket.
If you've never cozied up, you're doing life wrong. I'm telling you.
If you've never been around fire in general like that and just hung out with people like just vibing, you're missing out a lot.
Yeah.
Because that's something so unique and distinctive, but it's so easy to do in this country.
Yeah.
Like quite literally, you can go almost to any hardware store and buy like wood fire.
Yeah.
And then go to like almost.
Well, you're not buying the fire.
I mean, you're buying.
You can buy the
wood for the fire.
You can buy timber and stuff like that.
Right. And then you go to almost any park will let you light a fire.
Yeah.
And if they don't, you can go get a permit to do it.
Yeah.
Which is crazy to me that you can just go get a permit and light a fire wherever you want, essentially. Yeah. I mean, as long as it gets approved. If it doesn't get approved, then I guess you're on your own kind of thing. But
I mean, like, depending on like the park, if it's private, that's when you actually need it.
That's why, but most national parks have campgrounds. So they have fire pits already. Mm-hmm. Like you go to the beach, they got a fire pit. Yeah. But I think that because of that, and you can go wandering around in the woods and find someone made a man-made fire pit and people just vibe out.
And then you're just like, wow, this is actually made well. Like,
what's up? And then you go and you're like, I'll go collect some sticks for them.
Yeah.
And that way, the next time they get here, they're like, oh, someone helped us out.
Yeah.
But technically people shouldn't be doing that, but they're doing it anyway.
I mean, like, technically, if you do it right, I don't see the harm.
Yeah.
As long as you shut off the fire after.
Yeah, before you leave,
I mean, because no one truly earns every piece of land. Let's be real here, right? So, I mean, like, there's protected land.
Yeah.
And that's basically owned, but like...
It's owned by the government to protect it. Yeah. It's like that strip where like it's almost like a highway, but not a highway?
Yeah.
That area, all those trees, that's protected.
Yeah.
And I didn't know that up until recent, like about 2-3 years ago. I found out it was protected because they put up a big sign to let you know that this is protected land. And I was like, why is this protected? Like it's like right next to the highway. No one's gonna want to build anything here anyway. Like
exactly.
There's just trees upon trees and more trees. Like
I mean, what if we ran out of wood? I mean, Canada running out of wood.
I mean, the only thing I can see them happening is expanding, like the what do they call
highway? It? Making an extra lane.
Yeah, adding more lanes. That's the only thing I could see happening.
Yeah.
But other than that, I don't see anybody buying that land anytime soon.
Just like, I want to buy that land and I'm going to make another lane and I'm going to adopt that lane and I'm going to call it Jorge.
Yeah. No, I don't. What time is it, man?
I don't know.
Oh, we still got like 10 minutes.
No, but that's funny.
It's crazy how we I think we hold a very unique perspective
to life.
No, to where we grew up.
Yeah. I mean, like, we've basically just being specifically where we are in Canada, we've experienced basically every season.
Yeah.
We've experienced, because even here we have like a week or two that's just raining.
Yeah.
And it's constantly raining. And we call that like the small raining season.
Well, we're coming up on that because we have it once in June and once in October, November. This year it looks like it's going to be more in November. Yeah. Or actually, we might be entering it right now where it just rains and rains and rains and rains. Yeah. And it makes no sense. And it just rains a lot. And
then one day it turns into snow.
Yeah.
No, it turns into freezing rain, which is the worst.
No. What ends up happening
did you hear how Ontario is thinking about making the school board not make like snow days?
Really?
And just like take that away. So like, I mean, snow days in high school don't exist.
Yeah.
already.
Yeah.
But like they're thinking of making snow days just be virtual. So like if you can't, if buses are canceled,
Yeah.
the school is closed and basically just do it online.
Dang, that sucks.
And then the next day you just go back to class.
That sucks so much.
I know,
I hate
right?
that.
I mean, like, wouldn't that be annoying if like you had like a critical assignment for like your students, and then you're just like, okay, guys, we're gonna have to put anyways. You'd have to put hold.
Okay, look. So
on it,
this
if you
one
had
time,
to be like in
this
person.
one time we were in biology.
You were in biology
when I was in high school, and we were gonna do this like lab where we were gonna like dissect worms.
Yeah.
And our teacher asked us, hey, there's supposed to be a snowstorm the day we're gonna do the lab. Who thinks they're gonna be here? Put my hand up because I'm like, I always make it for the snow.
I always make
gotta
it the
come
snow
clutch.
Because everything good happens on the snow day.
So look, this is what happened. So interestingly enough, my mom was making pupusas to give it to my music teacher because he was obsessed. Maybe someday we'll have him on. Anyway, so we do the thing.
Yeah.
Anyway, so the snow happens and mom's like, do you really want to go to school? I'm like, I mean, I kind of said I would, but then my mom's like, it's snowing a lot, and like, look at the car. And I look outside and we don't have a garage.
Yeah.
And the car is literally like not there. Like it's just like a little hill. Like the car was completely coated in snow. And I'm like, okay, so we gotta unbury this. So we
can use the car.
Yeah. So we literally spent like an hour and a half unburying the car. The problem is so much snow was falling. Like you'd
get rid of snow in an area and it'd just be back there while you're working on
you'd move
side.
to another area and it'd be like we had like accomplished nothing.
Yeah.
So I'm like to my mom. So the trick is turn on the car, turn on the heater. The car heats up,
starts to melt. The snow when the new snow starts to hit the car, it starts to melt.
Yeah. So and we worked our way through it. And then finally, mom's like, "Okay, let's go." At which point, it's like lunchtime already. And then I'm like, okay, so we get in the car, we go, I drop off the food for my music teacher. He's jumping for joy. He's like, I can't believe you did this. Because it's like right before winter break too.
Yeah.
And then I go see my science teacher and he goes, what happened? I'm like, we spent like an hour unburying my car. I just thought I'd let you know. Like, and I'm sorry I missed your class.
Yeah.
And he's like, I'm gonna be honest with you. Only 4 people showed up. I'm like, oh my gosh.
No, there was like, I loved going during snow days.
Oh yeah.
Because like everything fun happens on the snow day.
Oh
like,
yeah.
Don't doubt it. Like everything fun happens. Nothing bad goes on. Like there was one time where like the school just like ordered pizza.
Yeah.
And we're just like, okay, we're all gonna have pizza now.
Yeah.
Sure.
It's also because like you guys had that pizza place like across the street.
Okay. Yeah. Yes. And no.
It's
but like yeah.
It's basically across the street.
Yeah. Basically.
And like it's not.
I mean, like it's literally like it's the greatest because then like you either end up watching movies all day with like your friends.
Yeah.
You get to like talk properly because you don't have an hour to cram in, like what's going on in your life. Like, like I mean, like you can text people, but like this.
So what'd you do yesterday? Hardcore game. What are you gonna do later today? Hardcore gaming.
Yeah, I mean, there's just so much that goes on. Like I've had instances where, and some of my best memories happen when I was just my class was canceled because like my teacher would have to go early because they lived far.
Yeah.
So it'd be like, okay, class is canceled. I guess go to the library or something.
Just go hang out.
So then I just like spend time in like the hallway with like my friends or something.
Yeah, like I remember when I had a spare, our one of my teachers was like, you're not allowed to leave the school.
Yeah.
And I go, what? And she goes, yeah, you technically on spare, you're supposed to stay in school. And I was like 2 months into my spare at this point. And I was like, well, no one ever told me that. And she goes, really? I'm like, yeah, I've been leaving like all the time. She goes, what do you mean? I'm like, yeah, I've been literally leaving every time I have a spare. She goes, what do you mean? I'm like, I end the day early. I'm like, I go home. She goes, what? I'm like, yeah, I'll just go home. Like, I won't bother. I won't bother to stay around for an hour.
Yeah.
And once the hour's over, school ends. Like, I'm not going to linger.
Yeah.
Right. And then like, but if I had it like before, like right after lunch, so I had a really long lunch, right? So I'd hang out with my friends and then, or sometimes I would just go home for lunch, hang out with like my mom or whatever. And then, I mean, like, and then go back to school.
I find it really hard. I would not argued, but I would have been like, why would I stay on school property if my attendance isn't?
Because you're supposed to use your spare to study.
Yes and no.
That's what it's for.
Yes and no.
So like, I mean, it was dumb. Anyway, but
I mean, like, if you have it literally last period, just go home.
Yeah, I know. I remember. Okay, so this one time during lunch, I went home because it was a FIFA.
Yeah,
Mexico was playing, and my dad's like, hey, so when's your spare? I'm like, it's like right after lunch. And he goes, I'm going to go pick you up at lunch so you can watch the game. Yeah. I'm like, okay. So he goes and he picks me up. And then I just never went back to school. So I missed my last class.
Yeah.
And then the next day the teacher goes, where were you?
Yeah.
Because back then I was doing math 101 and it was like because of my disability and all that stuff. And so really complicated. Anyway, get back to the point. Yeah. So she goes, where were you? And I go, oh, well, Mexico was playing. And she goes, oh, I see. And I go, yeah. So like, but I figured it was something like that. She's like, because I'm like, I saw him this morning. I know I saw him this morning. And also, you never signed out. Yeah. And so she's like, so technically you were here. Yeah. You were just missing. And I was like, that's a good thing you didn't panic. She goes, well, I was like, I started thinking about it. And I'm like, oh, he's probably like, it's like a game. He probably like went home or something like that. Yeah. And I was like, that's exactly what happened. And after that, like that class, I had so much fun in that class. Yeah. Because like if I showed up like just not in the mood for anything, she'd be like, you want to do a puzzle? Like just out of nowhere, she'd be like, you want to do a puzzle? I'm like, okay. And we'd spend the rest of the class just doing a puzzle. Like it was like, if we get work done, that's good. If we don't get work done, well then whatever. Like, but she was, and there's one time she made me, because she was a physics teacher. Mm-hmm. And she told me to help her mark physics test, so you can't tell anybody their grade. And I'm like, yeah, okay, whatever. But like, and then she gave me like the answer sheet. Yeah. She's like, this is what the answer should look like. I'm like, okay. And this one time, like one of the, like I couldn't read the guy's writing. I'm like, I don't know what this is. Like, can you read this? And she looks at it. She's like, okay, I think your dyslexia is contagious. I can't read this. Oh man. So then we go to another teacher and she's like, I can't read this either. Yeah. I mean, like, I'm impressed with how teachers can read, like in general. Oh yeah. Because like they've trained their eye from reading so much like different types of handwriting that it can be like gibberish, like chicken scratch, and they'll make it out and they'll just read it like if it's nothing. Yeah. And I'm just like, how did you, like, I can't even read that and I wrote that. Like, how did you do that? And they're just like what? It's fine. The worst for me was when teachers would grade in cursive. I feel that. Well, like, I feel that. In my case, like, because my disability doesn't let me read cursive. Yeah. And there are a few people I met with dyslexia who can write and read cursive, and I feel like their dyslexia isn't as hard hitting as mine. Like it's got to be like a scale or like a spectrum where they're like, I'm not completely dyslexic, I'm like partial. Like you could do this, I can't even read it. Like it's just like a bunch of scribbly lines. Yeah. But I had this friend in the last program in college I'd be like, hey, can you read this to me? And she'd be like, why? I'm like, I can't read cursive. And she's like, why don't you just tell prof? I'm like, I did, but I think she forgot. And then she goes, oh, that sucks. I'm like, I know. So there's like feedback on like my paper that I wrote. Yeah, and just a bunch of and I can't read it. Yeah. And I'm like, and I didn't want to go talk to her about this because I'm like, I don't want to be that guy who like tells you like a million times to do your job properly. But so she would just, every time we'd get a paper back, she would just read it for me. Yeah. Which is nice. I was like, oh, she's like, and we get back like any work from her and she'd be like, want me to read it? I'm like, yeah. So she'd just read it to me. It'd be really funny. And like, she's like, why are you good at this? She's like, I thought you could read or write. I'm like, I lack the ability to, but apparently I can do it from time to time. It's like I lack the ability to read, but I can write. It's complicated. Anyway, see, with me, like my issue is like with my like I just said we got to wrap up, and you just jumped into it. Sorry. Anyways, guys, this has been something. Yeah, sure, why not? Okay, guys, this has been in a week. He'll forget what he was. Dude, you're like interrupting me. Like he's gonna forget what he was talking about in a week. Anyways, to wrap up, how do I wrap up again? I forgot how I wrapped up. How do I wrap up, bro? I don't remember. All right, guys, everything's always in the description, whether it be up, down, left, or right. Make sure to share with your grandma, share with your rooster, share with your donkey, share with your chinchilla. I don't care who you share it with, just share it with anyone and everyone. And we'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace. Bye.